with all the stuff that's going on in the world, I thought I'd focus on something more important, something less arbitrary and childish, like what I've been filming. So today we'll be rating corporate headquarters based on vibe and based on how I personally think they look, which is the objective way of how to measure something, is how much I personally like it. These have no rhyme, no reason. I just grabbed a couple of corporate headquarters off the internet and basically stopped when I got too lazy to continue. Very scientific achievement that we're going for here. Let's pull up our first one. We have Chrysler headquarters. You know, Chrysler Fiat is the company now, but basically this is the headquarters for the USA part of Chrysler. Chrysler Fiat will move their headquarters to London in a year or two is what I read. But anyway, this thing, the main part of the building does kind of look like the grill of an old Chrysler. This whole thing isn't exactly inspiring or groundbreaking, but I don't know that I'd call it ugly. You know, nothing special, nothing terrible. I'd say this is a solid B. It's got a nice little campus around it, but yeah, this is a B tier headquarter or headquarters. Let's look at Delta. This one kind of has more of a campus feel to it. You've got the brick-ish, you know, 70s look of that Delta building, but then you've got the Fly Delta Airlines hangar looking building on the other side. You can tell I'm very informed and did a bunch of research for this. But, you know, kind of has a light and airy look. Not inspiring, but not terrible. Although I'm not a huge fan of the slit windows here. So, I think this is another B tier. Again, nothing incredible, nothing terrible, just pretty ho-hum as far as what you can get for corporate headquarters. Another car company, Chevrolet. Okay, this is like what you'd see Gru showed up and build. Like, I expect to be greeted by minions when I walk up to this building. Like, this is some solid tier. How the crap do I? Alright, hopefully this won't screw up the recording. You could do some top tier scheming in this thing. If you want to design a Chevy Tahoe, or you want to steal the moon, or, you know, conquer Belgium, this is a great place to make those plans from. This is, in my opinion, which is the objectively right opinion, a S tier corporate headquarters, no question. And next up we have SpaceX. Now, obviously you would expect a private space company to have a sleek and futuristic building. And from this angle, that's what it looks like. Unfortunately, if you look at another angle, it really is just a big warehouse type of building. The model rocket at the corner is a nice touch. I wouldn't say this is a bad building, but bad headquarters. It certainly could be more impressive or more futuristic considering what we're dealing with here. But you know, maybe that money is better spent on a rocket that explodes on the launch. So I'd have to give this A tier. You know, it looks better than just a normal corporate building, but it's not an S tier, you know, villain or superhero layer. This thing is bugging me, so I shall get rid of it. Another spacefaring or space adjacent company, Northrop Grumman. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Pretty underwhelming considering, you know, what Northrop Grumman works on. Considering all the weapons and defense contracts and spaceships and rockets and all sorts of aeronautical and defense minded stuff, their headquarters is pretty basic. I mean, it looks kind of like a mid-tier accounting firm, to be honest. It doesn't have a big old campus or anything. In fact, if you look, it's right near just some intersection or exchange. So pretty underwhelming considering the kind of work that Northrop does. And yeah, I gotta say, if this was the headquarters for, you know, a regional law firm, I'd give it a decent tier. But for Northrop Grumman, this is just plain old disappointing, and I'm forced to give this a C tier. Again, it's not ugly, so it's not a D, but it really does not live up to what Northrop Grumman could inflict upon a small nation. So it's going to be a C tier. Next up is Pepsi. Pepsi, unlike their mainstream soda, as far as headquarters go, Pepsi kind of does it right. It looks pretty blasé federal administrative building from the front, but when you then enter the little campus area or get a bird's eye view, it still looks like a federal administrative building, but a nice federal administrative building. Not breaking any ground here, but not being downright ugly. Now, it's not like a post office or something. It's more of an administrative building, like I said. But it has a nice, just, you know, plain Jane, we're here to make the second best soda on earth. It's going to be another B tier. It's a nice B tier. Yeah, the front is, they could do better in the front, so it's going to be a B tier. It's not ugly, but it's not exactly inspiring to look at. Then we have Berkshire Hathaway. This is so boring. In fact, it's not even branded as the Berkshire Hathaway headquarters. It's the Kiewit, I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's like the Kiewit Plaza. So it's not even, you know, you don't even see Berkshire Hathaway on the building as you drive by. It's just some generic building or business plaza that Berkshire Hathaway is the main tenant of, or maybe the only tenant. Again, you can tell I did a ton of research for this, but just terrible. And it's in Nebraska too. Like, come on. So yeah, bad. Just the least inspiring corporate headquarters you could imagine for the least inspiring business you can imagine. Is that harsh? Probably. Do they have great returns in the stock market? Sure. Still, terrible headquarters. Straight to D tier. Straight to D tier. Now, a little up-and-comer, if you will. A little scrappy company compared to the other ones we've looked at. This is the Robinhood headquarters. Robinhood as in the stockbroker Robinhood. And speaking as an owner of 6.9 shares of Robinhood, I think I can, you know, give a true shareholder's opinion of the company that I exercise a ownership interest in. You know, it's humble. It's unassuming. I'll give it that. Is that because of their company ethos or because that they're not trying to spend a ton of money? Who knows? It's not ugly. I wouldn't call it inspiring either. I mean, it could be a dentist office or a gastroenterologist. Gastroenterologist?
Gastroenterologist.
Just because it's not huge and impressive doesn't mean that it's got to be a bad headquarters. Like for a small and democratizing stockbroker, this does kind of live up to that image. This is the kind of building that you'd expect for a smaller, everyday man type of brokerage, or for a place where you can get your colonoscopy. Either way, this is the building for you. This will be a B tier. Not gonna make you swing your head around as you're driving by, but it's not ugly, and it certainly is its own little piece of character. Yeah, it's a B tier. Let's look at YouTube headquarters. Although it is large, although the presentation is sort of impressive with that curve of
plants. I think it's kind of lackluster, to be honest. It doesn't have like a bold theme. It really looks more like kind of like what you'd expect a paper company that wanted to update its administrative offices. Yeah, I don't think this really matches the vibe of a video streaming company. It's not as creative or as different as what I would expect. It's disappointing. It's going to be a C tier. It's not ugly. It's perfectly fine. It's just, I think it's uninspired for what YouTube's headquarters could be. And next up is Anheuser-Busch. This has a nice Willy Wonka kind of feel to it. You got the smokestacks. I know they're probably not smokestacks, probably exhaust vents for something in the brewing or bottling process. I don't really know. This is the St. Louis, Missouri headquarters, I believe. It's their overall headquarters, but it's also the St. Louis, Missouri brewery, because I think they run like 13 of them. But I like all the brick. I like the older 1800s, early 1900s look and feel of it. Looks like something that you expect, Carnegie to walk out of, or Willy Wonka. It's not one of these cookie cutter all glass skyscraper. I really like it. I think this suits the image that they're going for too, as being, the American everyday man's beer. But even separated from their product, I think this is a cool headquarters, a cool building. This is going to be an S tier headquarters, definitely. Then we have another drink competitor, Keurig Dr. Pepper. This is their headquarters, located in Houston, I think. And usually, I think all glass skyscrapers or all glass buildings like this are pretty lame, pretty uncool. But this one, for some reason, it kind of works on this particular building. I think it might kind of be because it's a longer shape, and on one side you have the little shorter notch cutout along with these vertical lines on the end, and it almost gives a sense of, somehow it gives the whole building a sense of movement forward. It just kind of gives the building a stately, futuristic type of vibe that normally I don't think glass buildings, glass rectangles, glass skyscrapers get. But this one works somehow, so I do actually like it. I think I will give this an A tier rating. It does match the vibe of a global beverage company that's looking to the future, looking to grow. I think this is an A tier corporate headquarters. And last but not least, ExxonMobil. This, I believe, is in Houston, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But man, that floating square or rectangle, I can't 100% tell based on the angles, but I believe it's a square. That is quite the look. Obviously, they can't make a headquarters that looks like an oil refinery. That would be a dumb idea. That'd be a dumb look. So kind of hard to tie oil and oil derivative products to a headquarters, but this does have a forward-looking design. I mean, it's really like a budget Blade Runner or look, or what you'd expect, like the precursor to a Weyland-Yutani building to look like. I think it's a cool look. It's futuristic without being obnoxiously so. Hard to say more. The fountain in front, or the fountains in front, I think add to the presentation of the floating square. All these parabolic arcs of the water draw a pleasing contrast to the right angle of the building itself. I mean, you see not only the square, that's like a pleasing contrast with the smooth curves of the fountain that sit in front of the buildings. I think this is a cool choice for a headquarters. I'd have to give this really an S tier rating. I think this has some interesting architectural themes that get tied together in a cool way. So that's corporate headquarters ranked in no particular order, in no particular grouping, without any particular research on my part. Really just getting a vibe for it based on the company that it's with, and just kind of going from there. So let me know if you agree or disagree with my ratings and assessment down in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.